All right. One more thing for today. We're going to take a look at some of the cases you've done in the last couple of weeks so we can preview our last case. A couple of weeks ago, we took a look at Casey Anthony, and probably by the way things have gone in the past, most of you do not like how the case turned out. I would guess that probably 100% of you think Casey Anthony's guilty. If you don't think she's guilty, you'd be the first in 6 years of teaching this class, so that's about 800 students or more that doesn't think she's guilty. And all of the evidence tells us that probably she did do it. Unfortunately, this is a perfect example of what we know versus what we can prove. What do we know? We know she lied to the police on multiple occasions. Her job, where she was, Zanny the nanny, you name that she was molested. We have no proof of that. There was never proof proven in court by her father or her brother. She lied to her parents. She's lied to the police. She lied about, you name it. She lied about it. This girl and the truth never met, I don't think. What else do we know? We know she didn't call the police for 31 days. My wife probably would never have made it 31 minutes without knowing where our children are, and most of your parents are the same way with you guys. So we know that's out there. We know that during those 31 days, instead of looking for her child, she was out partying. She got a tattoo that said La Bella Vita, which means beautiful life in Italian. She was, avoiding her parents. She was avoiding all kinds of, everything in contact with people. So we know that. We know that the body was found a half mile away. Of course, she eventually will blame it on Dad, saying Dad put it there. Dad was a former police officer, and as he was quoted as saying, as if I was burying the body, you'd never find it, which is, very truthful. We know that chloroform was looked up on the computer, the family computer, even though Mom lied on the stand and said she looked it up. We know that can't be possible. Mom was clocked in at work, but Mom will testify that in fact she did it. So maybe the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Unfortunately, what we can't disprove about this case is the defense's claim that the child drowned. The body was too decomposed. If you watched the Dr. G episode, you found that out very quickly, that the body was too decomposed to find cause of death. And you can actually Google some of the juror statements, and that's what they went back to. They couldn't prove cause of death, and therefore they couldn't find her guilty of murder. My real issue with this is that the prosecution pushed so hard for murder one, which is what America pushed for. The mens rea just wasn't there. We had no bad intentions. Most of the witnesses, the character witnesses, are going to say that she was good with her child, that she did a great job of taking care of Kaylee. So that wasn't on the prosecution side. If you look at most of the tangible evidence, that's going to fall to the prosecution, though. They're going to have all of that. But for murder one, again, if you're going to put somebody on death row, we want, the jury really wanted that cause of death, which we couldn't prove. My biggest problem here is the jury did not find any guilt in the parental neglect or the manslaughter. Listen, you have a 2.5-year-old child. Your job is to take care of them. Any of you babysit, if something goes wrong, you're the one responsible. Well, in this case, basically what that jury told America was nobody was responsible for this little girl. The mother's at home. The mother's on the computer at the time of the death. The little girl, even if you buy the defense's case, the little girl opened the sliding glass doors, went outside, went into the gated pool area, climbed the ladder, if it was or was not there, who knows, and was swimming. What is Casey Anthony doing? She's playing on the computer. That's parental neglect. That's manslaughter. That's an accidental death. The mother's in charge here. I don't know any other way around it. Needless to say, I don't know what the jury was thinking on that. I can understand the murder one. The other two charges, absolutely not. They did convict her on lying to the police, which you can even kind of tell where the judge falls on this case because he maximized sentence of lying to the police for a year each, which was 4 years. She had served most of that time already. And, that's very rarely done in a criminal case of this magnitude. So you could kind of tell where the judge sways, and eventually the judge did come out a few years ago and did talk about this case a little bit more. And then we switched to the Bernie Goetz case last week. Here, we have Bernie Goetz admitting to it. And as you just learned on our previous video, that's called an affirmative defense. He did it. He did it out of self-defense. Here we have all of the evidence in the world. Here we go, we've got to figure out the mens rea in a different way. For Casey Anthony, it was, did she have bad intentions? Was she being reckless? Which the jury found she was being neither. Go figure. In this case, Bernie Goetz, did he have bad intentions when he got on that subway? We don't have overwhelming evidence. We know that Bernie Goetz had been assaulted in the past. We know that during the early 80s, we talked about this in class before, crime in New York City was horrible. And the subway was something you didn't really venture on. It was very dangerous. And here's a man who has been assaulted before, goes and sits in a car away from anybody else, isolates himself. Young men come in, ask him for money. They did end up having screwdrivers on them, but, was Bernie Goetz aware of that? Maybe, maybe not. Ask him for $5. There's a little bit of a verbal confrontation, and he shoots them. What's his mens rea here? I'll be honest, I don't know. The evidence tells me that, yes, Bernie went on that subway with bad intentions. He was looking for a fight, and he responded. With that said, was he provoked? That's a question we can't answer. It never got as far as that, so if I'm a juror here, I would probably lean toward the side of Bernie Goetz being guilty, because we never actually see the physical threat. But can we assume a threat? Possibly, but I'm a big believer in the law. Remember, Lady Justice has a sword. It's yes or no. There's no in between. And if I'm siding on one side or the other, I'm saying that there was no threat at the time that he pulls out that gun. But again, I'm not in Bernie Goetz's shoes, so I don't know that I can honestly say. But this is another case of that mens rea. Remember, I told you that would come back. What's the mental state of that person committing that crime? And in both cases, the jury found that neither one of them had bad intentions for various different reasons. Which leads us into today. Now, the O.J. Simpson case this week or next week that you'll be studying is a complex case. We'll see everything that we studied, from police work to forensics to the trial. And there is a lot going on in this case. You guys are going to watch an hour-and-a-half special, Why O.J. Simpson Won. It's very, very well done. You'll see a lot of legal commentators, former lawyers, former prosecutors, and defense attorneys talk about the case. Some I really like. I think they have great insights. Some I think are whack jobs that are way off base. But I leave that to you guys to decide who you like, who you don't like. This is a little bit of a longer one. There's like between 25 and 30 questions. I've got a few left. But it will be your last assignment, so I'm giving you a couple weeks to do it. Take your time with it. Talk to others about it. Most of America, this one, remember, I told you in a jury, don't fall on racial lines. This case did. A lot of the black community thought O.J. Simpson was being improperly prosecuted. A lot of the white community thought that he was it. I want you to take an unbiased look at the evidence, how it's presented. That's important. How the police work is done. And I want you to come up with your own conclusion. It is an extremely difficult case because, again, it's one of those things you're going to edge to one side, but is that shadow of a doubt in the other? Could it have happened? That'll be the last thing we talk about. For you seniors, congratulations. For the, 12 of you, you're exempt. That's my gift to you. Congratulations, class of 2020. You're making history. This will be the I will see you guys at graduation, our graduation, but unfortunately we didn't get half of the year in. You won't get to go to the prison, and I'm sorry about that. But to make up for you, you guys are exempt. If you want to do it, I will definitely grade it. If you don't want to do it, go with God. So I'm just going to read off our seniors, and good luck at your school. If you ever need anything, let me know. Lauren McDonald, Luca Numerato, Ethan Haley, Dakota Rotter, Newell Hashmi, Natalie Chambers, Alex Earhart, Ellie Brunt, Danny Carr, Maria Martinez, congratulations by the way, Leo Ruzzi, and Scott Castle. You guys have survived. Congratulations. Good luck. And like I said, you can always email and let me know how you're doing. For everybody else, you got a couple weeks of work, and we'll conclude the semester talking about this case, and we'll talk about criminal punishment. All right? Until then, have fun.